She held up the old kitchen sink with 2 fingers like it was trash. Then she looked straight at the little girl beside the auction table and smiled. "Sweetheart, did your dad really think this belonged at a school fundraiser?" The gym exploded with laughter. 10-year-old Maisie didn't cry. She just searched the crowd until she found her father standing silently at the back, still wearing his stained plumbing jacket after rushing straight from work. No one in that room knew the man they were laughing at was about to expose a scandal that would shake the entire town and change thousands of lives forever. If you know a kid who's ever had to watch their parent get laughed at in public, and you've ever wanted to see the room go silent for the right reasons, stick with this one till the end. Hit subscribe, because what happens next in Hartwell, nobody in that gymnasium saw coming. Vivian's smile didn't move, but her eyes did toward the side entrance, where a man in a gray suit had been standing for the last 10 minutes, writing something on a tablet. Nobody in town recognized him. He wasn't a parent. He wasn't a teacher. He'd been introduced only as a guest of the district. He'd been there since Daniel walked in. 2 weeks earlier, Hartwell's water department had quietly flagged elevated contaminant levels in the North Well line, the same line that fed Crestwood Meadows. The luxury development Vivian's husband, Nathaniel Crane, had broken ground on 18 months ago after the town approved a rushed rezoning. Nobody had connected it publicly. Yet, what the gray-suited man knew, and Daniel didn't yet, was that the valve system stamped quietly into the base of that donated sink wasn't just a repair. It was a patented low-cost filtration coupling Daniel had designed 4 years ago in his garage, after his late wife's chemo left him with too much time at 2 a.m., and an engineering degree he'd never gotten to use. He'd filed it, licensed it to a small manufacturer for grocery money, and forgotten about it. The manufacturer hadn't forgotten. Neither had the federal contractor now searching every township in the state for a working prototype to fast-track a rural water safety pilot program, a program that happened to require exactly the fix Crestwood Meadows was one inspection away from needing. Vivian took the microphone back, laughing it off for the crowd. "Well, isn't that charming? Let's move on to real items, shall we?" The man in gray finally stepped forward. "Actually," he said, loud enough for the whole gym to hear, "I'd like everyone to hold on for one more minute. My name is Warren Locke. I'm with the Interior Department's Rural Water Task Force." He turned, not to Vivian, to Daniel. "Mr. Hayes, are you the same D. Hayes who holds patent 11,402,558? Daniel blinked. That's me." Vivian's smile finally cracked, because standing 3 feet from her, holding a tablet with Nathaniel Crane's name flagged in red under an open contamination inquiry, Warren Locke smiled and said the sentence that would be all over the local news by morning. "Then you're the reason this town just qualified for $40 million in federal water infrastructure funding. And you're the reason we're about to find out exactly what's been leaking into Crestwood Meadows." Vivian Crane's laugh from the stage was still playing on someone's phone by 7 a.m. Posted by a parent who'd caught the whole exchange on video, captioned "The gym went dead silent." By noon, it had climbed past 200,000 views on the town's community page alone. Warren Locke didn't wait for the fundraiser to end. He asked Daniel to step into the hallway, tablet in hand. 4 years ago, you filed a coupling design for gray water filtration, Locke said. "Cheap to manufacture, no proprietary parts, works on standard residential plumbing. We've had engineers looking for exactly this for 18 months. Every version they've tested costs 6 times what yours does." Daniel rubbed the back of his neck. "I built it so a family on my street could stop boiling their water. I wasn't trying to, I know," Locke said. "That's exactly why it works. You weren't building it for a grant application. You were building it for a kitchen sink." He turned the tablet around. "The task force needs a pilot site by end of quarter. Hartwell's water table already flagged for contamination risk. Your patent, installed at scale, is the fastest legal path to compliance the state has seen in 3 years. By the following Tuesday, The story wasn't about a laughed at plumber anymore. It was about Crestwood Meadows. The same contamination readings Locke had been tracking traced straight back to a runoff diversion Nathaniel Crane's development company had installed to save $400,000 on proper drainage lines, a shortcut buried in a permit amendment nobody at the town council meeting had read past page 1. The State Department of Environmental Quality opened a formal inquiry within 72 hours. Crane Holdings stock, thinly traded but locally watched, dropped without warning the same afternoon the story hit the regional news desk. Vivian didn't laugh at the second gymnasium event. This one wasn't a fundraiser, it was a mandatory town hall, folding chairs full again. Except now Nathaniel Crane sat at the front table answering questions from the deck regional director while a court reporter typed every word. Maisie wasn't there for that part. She was in her kitchen, actually, watching her dad on the local news at 6 o'clock. Sink faucet still dripping softly behind her, the same one that had started it all. Still installed. Still working. Daniel didn't ask for a payout. He didn't sue. When the state offered him a licensing contract worth more than he'd earned in the last 6 years combined, he asked for one condition folded into the agreement. Every household in Hartwell under the water safety threshold got the filtration coupling installed free, funded through the same infrastructure grant his invention had unlocked. 211 homes. Free clean water, including 3 families who'd laughed loudest in that gym. Vivian Crane resigned from the school board 11 days later, citing personal reasons. Nobody in Hartwell believed that for a second, and nobody said so out loud, because they didn't need to. The news said it for them. The last scene the town remembers isn't the auction, or the resignation, or the headlines. It's Maisie, 3 weeks later setting up a lemonade stand outside their house with a hand-painted sign, "Hayes repairs, we fix what's broken." Daniel stood behind her, sleeves rolled up, laughing at something she said. Sunlight catching the same rough hands that built a $400 valve for free and ended up rebuilding an entire town's water system instead. If Vivian Crane had known who she was laughing at, would she have said a single word? Or is that exactly the kind of arrogance that never sees it coming until it's already on the news? Tell us below what you'd have done in that gymnasium.